Hey, can you believe it's December? Where did 2009 go? It's hard to believe, but we are now in December, and our character trait that we're going to emphasize this week is compassion. And it really does line up perfectly for where we were going as a whole church with our adults, all the way through down to our youngest children. An emphasis being on being like Jesus at a time when we celebrate his birth. It all being about compassion. And our definition for compassion is caring enough to do something about someone's needs. And that's what we're trying to do with our Advent conspiracy. I think there's all kinds of great ways that you can tie into the Advent conspiracy and celebrate Christmas in a way that'll bring more presence and not more present of God into our lives. And so I really do think that just the alignment of this character trait that you're working on this month will be really good. Now you're going to work your way through for 4 weeks some different things. You're going to tell the story about the angels, and I got my little nativity scene out. Actually, I'm in trouble with Dana because I dropped the Christmas box on top of her new car and put a dent in her hood. So I went to great risk here to bring this to you, but the first week is with the angels and the pronouncement of God seeing a great need in humanity and meeting it at great price through his son, Jesus Christ. And the angels appearing to Mary and announcing this compassionate thing that's going to happen and how God is going to come down and step into human history to be able to meet the need. The second week, you're going to talk about the birth, and this is Joseph in my scene, and Mary. I'm not even going to show you the baby. It's ridiculous the way they did him. But, you've got the announcement of what's going on and Jesus being born, and the beautiful story in Luke chapter 2 about Christ coming and the way that God orchestrated events around the birth of Christ. And it's such a rich time and a rich story for us, no matter what our age is. It still matters, and it's still a great thing to be able to share and to see the compassion that God demonstrated and the risk. And then to see the story was not just for the rich and famous, but then the third week you're going to tell the story about how the shepherds heard from the angels this great news that God had kept his promise and given a message of hope to folks. And so you get the story of the angels coming and pronouncing to the shepherds being really the lowest rung on the social ladder, and God kind of purposely making sure that they were a part of that. And then the last week is the story about the three kings coming and them being part. And it's amazing to think that these guys came from so far away when so many so close that should have known the story don't get it. And yet these guys know, following the star, that there's something big going on and that they need to pay attention and to bring gifts fit for a king. I just hope that this December would be rich for you and your family, that you'll find new and fresh ways to bring Christ into the middle of it. You'll fight some of what our culture tells us is supposed to be in our emphasis, and instead of all on what we get, we'll take our compassion and we'll care enough to do something about someone else's needs. And so God bless you as you do that, and may Advent Conspiracy bless some people around the world in a very rich way. I just remind you that there's going to be a special offering that you can kind of lead your family towards on the weekend of the 19th and the 20th, and all that money will go towards putting a well in El Salvador for a community of people. Look forward to seeing what God's going to do. Merry Christmas.